Hi.
Hi.
So this whole
Hi.
E3 thing happened. That's a big thing, E3. You guys know about E3?
E3.
There was like games released. I mean, not released. I mean, announced at E3. Like this game, like this monkey thing. He was announced at E3. Oh God, he became a bird. So this is Unreal Heroes. Actually, I don't know if it was announced at E3. It was shown during the Microsoft conference anyway. I just instantly thought, oh hey, Ubisoft, they're making a new game using the Rayman Legends engine. But no, this is not Ubisoft, and I don't think it's that engine at all, but it looks super similar. This is a 4-player action brawler thing. Supports 4-player co-op. Yeah, wow. I think it's local only though.
Oh.
Yeah, they specifically said like online is some kind of 4v4 competitive mode.
Wasn't there a Rayman game with co-op as well?
Yeah, I think also that was local only.
Yeah, the Origins and Legends both had 4-player support, I believe.
I don't know how interested I am in this game, to be honest, but the art style looks so cool. It looks super cool visually.
It does look nice.
Is that Ganondorf?
It does kind of look like him.
Oh, sorry, that's my crutch. With the black bar.
Did you see the rating? It's age 12. Age 12. Jesus Christ.
I'm not 12, are you?
Yes! Hello, I'm 12 years old.
Right.
2018.
Really fun,
yeah, get used to those words.
Yeah, everything is early 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Early.
That looks like fun, but I'm disappointed it's only couch co-op. But
yeah,
I'll get Andrew to play.
And it's coming for basically everything.
Oh, everything that matters.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks pretty. Like the art style. So, more games. And more games.
Yeah.
Rated pending.
Oh, right.
So, Monster Hunter World was announced coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
I was actually really impressed by this trailer. Like, I was surprised how mature it looked for a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, I think this might be the first time I might be kind of interested in a Monster Hunter game. We'll see.
Ooh.
How do the graphics compare to like the one that was on the Wii U? Was it?
Well, I mean, the Wii U version was basically a port of the 3DS game, so this looks a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, this series it's always been on handhelds, right? This is one of the rare Monster Hunter games released on a console.
Started on PSP, I want to say.
PS2.
Ah.
Then it gained a following on PSP. You know, I am baffled. Like, I've seen some posts from stupid people on the internet that say that this looks unimpressive visually.
What?
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
Yeah, I think the graphics look good.
Yeah.
Especially if you compare it to previous Monster Hunter games.
Oh,
exactly.
And
we should note, this is empty framework.
I was going to say the same, which is baffling because I guess it's just more proof they've given up on Panther Ray.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't realize it was empty framework. Wow.
I think it makes sense because I'm sure some of the 3DS entries have been made using the mobile version of Empty Framework, so they probably have some experience with the engine.
Yeah.
And well, I think Capcom still isn't doing too great financially, so they're probably wanting to cut costs
and
while still making good games.
Theirs, right?
Yep.
So. I want to say this was also slated for early 2018, but they did say PC version will be coming later. It won't be launched on PC immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Early 2018.
As someone who's only ever played, I think it was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which was on.
Yeah, that was the blasphemous part of that trailer. They didn't play the music during the trailer. They just showed the animation.
They should have.
Sorry. Anyway, which was the Wii U version? Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Is that what was on?
Yeah,
Wii U?
yeah. That was the one.
I played that briefly, so that's my only experience with Monster Hunter series. But I'm actually really excited about this.
I played a bunch on PSP when it came out. Hi, puppy.
That's Phoebe having some dreams.
Otherwise, I don't think we know too much about the game. I think they said it'll be up to 4 players online, which I think is common with the series, right?
Yes, that's correct. Now, 4 players online, he said.
Oh, yeah.
Now, one other thing to mention is that in the past, previous Monster Hunter games, the maps were made up of separate numbered zones, and there was loading screens between each individual zones.
Oh yeah.
Which was
That-
slightly painful.
That is no longer the case with this game.
Is it just
Yeah,
open
good.
world?
They still have the numbered zones, but there is no loading between them.
Ah.
That is really good to hear. That was a pretty big turnoff of the Wii U version.
Also,
Oh.
I think the one environment that they're showing in this trailer, I think it's bigger than any zone in any previous game. Like I think the number of individual zones in the map went up to like 18.
It does seem a very big environment. Like there's so many different areas we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how the controls will be. I hope they're a lot better than previous games.
Another feature that this game doesn't have that previous entries did not have is drop-in co-op. So that ability that you just saw where he launched a flare into the sky, that's that player summoning for help, and you saw them flying in on those little pterodactyls.
Oh, you have to you have to do something specific to allow other people to join?
I think so.
Maybe that was like an allowing access thing to his world or something.
Maybe that's just one way of doing it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard like you can still set up lobbies ahead of time and go in together at the start, which is probably what most people will do. No, you don't want to be cooked.
Well, hey, if
Not the first time
all
I've been
four of
spit
us are
roasted.
interested, then when it comes to PC, maybe we could try it all out.
I think they've also said that all 14 weapon types that were in Monster Hunter 4 will be coming back for this game.
I can't remember what weapons I used.
Of course, he's using the great sword in this trailer. It's a pretty iconic weapon of the series.
I think I used a great sword at one point.
Big, heavy weapon where you have to time your strikes well.
I think I saw
no.
people complaining that this is not going to be on a Nintendo console as of yet, just Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was other Monster Hunter news that got people riled up, though it may have been due to some mistranslation and poor communication from GameSpot.
Oh.
That the upcoming Switch version of Monster Hunter Double Cross that was announced for Japan is not going to be localized for English territories at this time.
That's poop.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing that.
Speaking of Capcom, they in the financial papers released to stockholders, they said that they had one big unannounced game for this fiscal year, and I'm pretty sure this is it. So I don't think we can expect any other big Capcom games to be announced and released before early 2018.
Yeah,
I accept.
Okay, time to move on to the next game.
sure, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
This is one of the smaller news, but I have
Faulty.
played this game quite a bit lately, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and I really want this feature because moving around right now when there's like any low wall or fence, you just cry because it's so fiddly to try to jump over them. So being able
Yep.
to do this, it's such a big upgrade in the game.
I love the jumping out of the window. It's so fun. Well, it looks so fun, I mean.
PUBG.
PUBG.
BTW, that's what this is.
So there we go, window jumping.
Yeah.
And also weather.
I think they said as well that they're releasing 2 maps in the future, one with snow and one with a desert.
I think I did hear that somewhere. Yeah, but there's like basic weather in the game already, but the rain looks kind of crap, and this looks a lot better.
And I'm gonna make one prediction about the whole weather thing and stuffs. I expect they will never, ever, 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 ever add nighttime to the game. Because people will just increase brightness to maximum and it won't matter at all anymore.
Yeah.
Well, probably.
Wait, is there a brightness setting in the game at all?
I mean, you could just do it with your monitor either way.
Um,
So yeah, Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Oh yeah, this.
Yes! I know a lot of people lost their shit when this was announced.
I only ever played the demo, but it was really fun.
It's a short game, but it's a very good game.
I've never played it. I've only watched a friend play it like when I was like a teenager.
The original Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favorite games ever.
I am
On the
so excited to play this.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, it was originally launched on the PS2 and brought it to its knees.
Oh yeah, the frame rate was bad.
However, the announcement of this is kind of strange
The graphics are
because
awesome.
I think some aspects of this look really good, but I don't know. There's something about the character. Like, I don't think he looks too good.
Yeah, I think it might be because I think the original Shadow of the Colossus had a little bit more of a stylized look, and this kind of looks like it's just going with more realistic style graphics. I think that makes the character look a little bit off.
The giants look so damn good.
Yeah, I think in general this looks pretty good.
I mean, they're massive, and you're going to be climbing on them and stabbing
Yes.
them in the face and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Their textures look so good.
I
But
really
yeah.
can't wait.
The reason that's weird is because so it's being done by Bluepoint Games, who have a good track record for remasters, and they actually already remastered Shadow of the Colossus for the PS3. Basically, they ported the PS2 game to PS3 and made it run better.
So I've heard other people kind of argue about this. Will this be considered a remaster or a remake?
Okay. It's time to settle the score here. It's time to. I wish I could put on something like Professor Hat or anything for this. Okay, so let's talk about three different things there. A reboot, as far as I am considered anyway, a reboot that would be a new game in a franchise where usually like either the gameplay and or the story is just considered all new. I think most of the time it would be only the story. Like if the story and character just behaving as if this is like nothing. I mean, all is new. Like no relation to previous games. It's a reboot. A
total redesign. For example, like DMC.
Yeah. That's a great example of a reboot, and also like the 2013 Tomb Raider game or the 2009 Prince of Persia games. Those are reboots.
Yeah.
A remake is a game remade from scratch using a previous game as template. For instance, Resident Evil on the GameCube. That's a remake of the PS1 game and no assets carried over. They remade the game, hence remake. Mm-hmm. A remaster is a port of a game, usually to a new platform, using the same assets, usually the same code, and it just like re-rendered at a higher resolution, like rendering at a higher frame rate, maybe some changes to it. That's how I see it, and I think in general that's what the game industry usually refers to when they talk about reboots, remakes, and remasters. But I've also seen developers use those terms differently, so it's getting a little bit confusing.
Your definition of it makes sense to me.
But
I'm still unclear about what this would be considered. Like I'd lean towards remake.
I mean the assets are completely new, so I would look at this as a remake, even though gameplay-wise it might be the same.
I've also heard online remaster, old code, remake, new code.
Yeah.
That said, I do hope there will be some new content in the game. I don't know how interested I would be if this is just literally the same game.
Yeah, I think that's what's tempering my excitement a bit as well.
That said, it is a really good game, and I mean, you can't hear it in the podcast, but they did one huge sin in this trailer. There's no Shadow Colossus music in this trailer. There's just some kind of new generic music which doesn't fit at all.
So it'll be a complete redoing of the soundtrack.
No, I mean,
you better fucking not. I swear to God.
Like re-recording of it, like not new songs.
I mean, it sounds completely different to the music in the trailer. I just assume and hope they reuse the exact same music because there's nothing wrong with that music. That music is amazing. Don't change it.
Incredible music in that game.
I'd be surprised if they didn't re-record that though. Like just the same music, but just re-recorded.
I mean, it was already CD quality music.
Yeah, I mean, it did really sound great back in the day. Maybe they can implement it with a high bit rate than on the PS2, but otherwise, I don't see a reason to re-record it.
I mean, this isn't like the case with the Kingdom Hearts 2, where them redoing the music was actually a good idea. Like the music in the original release was perfect. It was fine.
I think I'm just surprised that a game this old would have audio quality that people would accept.
Unless
in the new release.
I mean, PS2 games were on DVDs. They had plenty of space for good quality music.
Yeah, and this was also recorded with an orchestra, right? So I don't think there's much to gain to re-record it with an orchestra if the original recording was good.
I didn't realize the original version was orchestrated. That's like the main idea I had, that the new one would be recorded.
I think you need to listen to the music from Shadow of the Colossus again.
It's been a few years since I watched
good
it and played it, so
it's such good music.
I familiarize myself with it.
Shall we just stop the podcast and just listen to Shadow of the Colossus music? Because seriously, that soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks ever. It's such a good soundtrack.
Didn't it have
a man?
It had a dynamic music where it changed as you were doing different styles of combat, or if you're climbing on the.
No, I don't think so.
Am I thinking of
the music would like shift once as the Colossus was newly dead.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was about it.
Which is very similar to like the end of battle music in Dragon's Dogma. They did a super similar thing as you defeated a giant monster.
Which is so much fun.
I'm curious for you guys who have played Shadow of the Colossus, with the different scenes happening in the trailer, can you actually picture that in the PS2 version? Like you know where this is and stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean
yeah,
everything.
I recognized that where he just ran through. That looked really.
Yeah,
fire.
I mean that bridge is the opening cutscene. You walk across that bridge.
I think everything you see here is super similar to the original game. It just looks prettier because all new assets and rendering and stuff.
It's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe we've talked enough about Shadow of the Colossus. We have other games to go through too, but it's a good game. It has good music. It's cool they're remaking it.
Only on PS4, right?
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume it'll only be
on
PS4.
I mean, the Team Eco's games have always been Sony exclusive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So wait, no. Did I skip something? I might have skipped something. Oh yeah, I had some screenshots of this. Pretty 4K screenshots.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. The trailer did say images captured from a PS4 Pro system.
Oh, look at how pretty it
Go
is.
for the eyes.
Uh,
It looks like a sort of a Herb Duke
Fancy
character.
bridge. That kind of looks upscale. Just ignore that. I'm gonna quickly check I didn't skip any trailer by accident here. Oh yeah, I did skip this by accident. Okay, yeah. So this is a game called Last Night. I think it was announced during the Microsoft conference, right?
Oh,
Yeah, it
I
was.
think I remember what this is.
So this is some kind of a 2D action adventure game, I think. And it's actually based on a Game Jam game from 3 years ago, which 3 people made, and now they're making it a full game. So not too much is known about it, but the art style just looks really cool.
Yeah.
And the Game Jam game can actually be played right now. I'll just add the link to the video description.
What was that game called?
The Last Night.
I mean, the one previously they made?
The Last Night. they both have the same name.
Oh, okay.
But the Game Jam game is like super short, like 5 minutes long. And does look nearly as fancy as this.
Is that the thing you quickly tested the other day?
Yeah, so I've got some good and bad news about this.
Okay.
So they cite 2 things as heavy references, heavy inspirations for the game. So one of them is Blade Runner, and it's kind of obvious how that was inspired, how that inspired them to make this. But the second one is Flashback.
Yeah.
Flashback is
and I played through the original Flashback, and I played the new Flashback.
Yeah,
and, it was an experience.
Flashback is a very good / bad game.
Played a demo, I think.
I mean,
Just
there are
as long as they're not inspired by that alien morph enemy in Flashback, that's fine.
I mean, Flashback, you can learn what to do and what not to do. As someone like there.
Yeah. So on to the next game.
In the trailer for the Last Night, I did see some visual similarities between the trailer and Flashback. So maybe that's what their inspiration is.
Yeah, it might just be a visual thing.
Hmm.
Who knows?
And I would be okay with that because that looked really cool. Okay. Carry on.
Okay, so this game was announced at E3 by Ubisoft. It's called Skull and Bones. It's a pirate game. So this is apparently directly based on Assassin's Creed 4. They just took that game and started making this game based on that. I think even the team who's working on Skull and Bones, they specifically worked on the ship movement and combat in Assassin's Creed 4. So the general concept of the game is that you have an open world, and it's online only, by the way. So you can meet up other players in the open world, you can team up with other players, and there's various like AI targets you can hunt down for gold, and then you can go back to your hideout to like recruit the sailors and upgrade your ship and everything. And, well, I thought Assassin's Creed 4 was pretty darn fun. There's been many pirate games I've enjoyed in the past, like Sid Meier's Pirates. So on paper, this kind of sounds like it could be a combination of Assassin's Creed 4 with an open world like Sid Meier's Pirates, and that sounds super, super, super cool, especially since you can play with friends. I like the idea of that. The only one huge downside is that the only gameplay they showed at E3 of this game was a 5v5 instant competitive mode where you have two sides competing for loot. I think there you fight some kind of AI convoy and then get the loot, and then you have to burger up before these super powerful pirate hunters come after you. And I mean, that kind of looks like it would be a little bit fun, but I am mostly interested in the open world stuff, which I really, really, really wish they had actually shown off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been more excited about this game if they showed that instead of the 5v5 stuff. But
Yeah,
I mean, we have time to see that still.
I wasn't entirely sold on the PvP stuff they showed at the conference.
I thought it was a weird thing to show off the game when it's supposed to be so much more than that, because I don't see that competitive mode being appealing to many people, period.
This game did definitely re-inspire me to actually go back and play Black Flag for the first time. Because I own it, but I haven't played it.
Oh my.
And it looks like a lot of fun. And the things that they showed in this game that are very similar to that also look like a lot of fun. But I think I'd rather just experience the offline implementation of that in Black Flag.
I don't have any video of it here, but gameplay-wise, you can clearly see, oh yeah, this was definitely based on AC4 Black Flag.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to assume that the beta for this game, when that's available, will only be the PvP.
I hope not, but we'll see.
I would assume that too. Like normally for betas, they're wanting to test the multiplayer stuff.
Well, the thing is, the open world, it is online only. It is multiplayer. The entire game is technically multiplayer only. There's no offline single player. I guess it is kind of like MMO-ish in that regard.
Unless the PvP is in the open world as well.
I mean, it did say that you can meet up other players in the open world and then attack them if you want.
Well,
I don't think all the PvP is instance like what they showed at E3.
That would be a very piratey thing to do.
Yeah.
They actually did specifically mention that if you are that kind of character, you could just betray your friends and take all the loot, like shoot them down, take the loot, and bugger off if you want to do that.
I'm going to kill you, Sectus.
I have a hard time seeing many people do that, because if you are actually playing with a group of friends and then you suddenly kill one of them and take everything they have, I think they'll get annoyed.
Yeah.
I'm not here to make friends, lassie.
And they also mentioned that even though you can like just hunt alone in the open world, it is very much recommended to team up with other players, because that just makes everything a lot easier in general.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I mean, visually, I just think it looks super cool. Like, I think they've done a great design with the ships, like the design of the characters, and like the water. Everything just looks really beautiful, like the islands and everything.
I do like water. And speaking of visuals and characters, if I'm able to make an attractive character, then I'm much more likely to play the game. So
I mean,
that concept earlier looked like it was just predefined. From the concept earlier with the characters, and then the gameplay, we saw people playing as like the same character. I'm assuming it's predefined.
They have said there will be a lot of customization. Like, you can customize your ship, you can customize your crew. So I'll be very surprised if you can't customize your own character.
Maybe that'll be what makes my decision then.
Yeah.
You're very into customization.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if people saw the stream I did earlier where I looked at my Soccer 5 character designs again.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've watched over that.
customization can be pretty amazing.
I fell asleep watching your Soul Calibur characters that you made, and I think I had some nightmares inspired by that.
My favorite is
You're
Miss
welcome.
Pac-Man.
Oh god.
I think the characters do look pretty cool, but yeah, I hope they can be customized. The art style reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed 4, and I thought everything in that game looked cool too.
Yeah, the guy on the right, he looks a bit like Adewale from Black Flag, but with just white face paint on.
Aquamedi.
Hmm.
Out of these three men, if only you could play as these three men, but you could customize them. Oh, this one. Okay, it's already. That didn't take very long.
Okay. I think that's it for me. I think that's the games from E3 I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So
That's it? That's all you care about?
I mean,
What
the
about
more stuff.
Nintendo?
I mean, there is more stuff I could talk about, but I just wanted to pick some highlights so this didn't become like 2 hours long.
Actually, while we're on the topic of Assassin's Creed-esque games, I'm really excited about Assassin's Creed Origins. Like all the footage they showed of that, it takes place in Egypt. It looks like a good Assassin's Creed game for me to jump back into the series. And I haven't played since, I think Brotherhood was the last one I got close to completing. I finished 1 and 2, and I played, I think, a little bit of Brotherhood and maybe 3, but I didn't finish either one of those.
I guess because like new setting, new story, it'll be a fresh start and stuff.
Yeah, it's going back in time, like it's an origin story.
Yeah.
And it like they've said when they showed the trailer that Egypt has inspired them to kind of redesign a lot of their gameplay mechanics. So I think that will be refreshing enough to me to be inspired to play the game again and pick it up.
I think the setting looks pretty cool.
I just found it kind of funny that you could basically just use an eagle as a recon drone.
That looked pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely looks like they've remade some parts of it. Like the combat just looks completely new. It looks more kind of maybe like Dark Souls-ish than old Assassin's Creed combat.
Maybe. It looked a bit. I don't know what the word is.
Batman-ish?
No, sticky from the footage. Yeah, it didn't feel like it was flowing all that smoothly, but hey, the game's not done yet.
I don't think I've ever felt that Assassin's Creed combat flows very smoothly, but what they showed of the combat in Origins, I think, for me at least, it definitely looked like a step up from what I've experienced in the past. But again, I haven't played since 1 and 2, really.
I think it was more of an animation thing, like I didn't think. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looked a bit more freeform. Like it wasn't like just timing counters all the time.
That's something I disliked about the previous Assassin's Creed, where it's just like waiting to when to strike and stuff. I prefer to just go all in and attack and stuff.
I enjoyed that style for 1 game, but after 1 game, I had enough.
Yeah.
And although I suppose we'll probably have to say goodbye to the win button.
I think we've said goodbye to that for quite a few games now, haven't we? I think basically Brotherhood. No, I think Revelations 1 was the last game to have that like mechanic of having fellow assassins help you. I think Assassin's Creed 3 had a limited version of that, and after that they just removed it, if I recall.
Are you talking about you press 1 button and then like 4 assassins right down from the sky and instantly kill people?
That was so amazing. It was so good. If all of the combat that's shown in Assassin's Creed Origins was that, I would be sold.
Totally redesigned their combat.
Oh, instead of assassins, it's just 4 eagles, and they just peg people to death.
I just want to be an assassin. I walk down the street. I never touch my own weapon. I just press RB now, and I just have other assassins just come in and kill everyone. That's a game I want to play.
I guess we should also note that the origins in the title is quite literal, like it is set before any other game in the entire series.
Yeah.
I think we slightly mentioned that, but not. Yeah.
I think far enough ahead of time that I'd be surprised if Altair was even mentioned or a part of it, but I don't know anything about the story yet.
I wonder if, like, is Desmond still a thing, or is that spoilerish?
I don't think he's been a thing since 3 actually.
Because I haven't played since Brotherhood, so I have no idea.
I think they're still trying to do the whole modern storyline, but I think they're just trying to make it less of a thing and focus more on the like the main part of the storyline in the game. In this case, Egypt.
I think.
Wait, have you seen a clip of Origins that shows the modern?
No,
setting?
but I do know the latest games did have some element of like modern stuff, like Unity and Syndicate apparently had elements of that, but it wasn't a big part of the game.
Yeah, I think they have been downplaying the whole modern day stuff.
The modern stuff was just gone entirely.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they wrote themselves in a corner, like they have no meaningful way of continuing that part of the storyline.
I enjoyed the Desmond and was it Lucy, that story stuff in 1 and 2, but I imagine it drastically changed as you kept going.
Okay.
While we talk about Assassin's Creed stuff, and now as I remember, I just want to mention one quick thing about Skull and Bones, which might be a big downer for some people, even though it's directly based on Assassin's Creed 4. There is no part of the game where you can like get off your ship. Like you cannot freely move around as a character in any part of the game. It sounds like it is very much like a pirate ship game.
You're just at the wheel commanding, right?
Yeah. You can...
Are you telling me I can't swashbuckle?
No, there's no swashbuckling. It did mention you can go to like ports and hideouts, but maybe that's menu driven rather than moving around as a character.
I think I saw that you can board enemy ships too.
But yeah, but I mean, in that gameplay trailer, boarding very much looks like a cutscene, so I guess that's how it's implemented. It is. I mean, I think I'm fine with it, but maybe that's something they can work on if this is successful and they make a sequel. Because that would be, I think, a pretty obvious addition.
I assume if any boarding happened, you just like watch your crew go over to the other ship and do stuff.
I mean, that's basically what the cutscene showed. It looked very automatic. Looked fancy at least. Looked like a fancy automatic thing.
A cutscene in an open world online game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Ubisoft. Don't put it past them.
It is Ubisoft. Oh, on that topic, we did have Black Desert that in beta you couldn't even swim at all.
Oh,
so and maybe they do have
underwater.
plans. Have they noted that you won't be able to get off the ship and walk around anywhere?
Yes, that is something they've said.
Okay, so never mind. Scratch what I said.
Okay.
Next game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Akamete, Snips, Ryman?
You have anything else you want to talk about, Akamete?
Super Lucky's Tale I was pretty excited about for a platformer, but I don't really have much to say about it. I just thought it looked really fun.
Yeah, that looks interesting. It's also kind of weird. Like the first game was an Oculus Rift VR exclusive game, and this is just like a traditional 3D platformer. And there was a Digital Foundry video about it recently. It runs at 4K 60 FPS on Xbox One X.
60 FPS is nice.
Yeah. That's definitely a trend I noticed from Microsoft. They don't care at all about VR.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
Have
like
they said-
Kinect is for Xbox and VR is for PlayStation.
they
They
said
won't touch each other with a 6-inch. What?
Have they said anything VR related at all in any conference?
Not this
No.
year, no.
They have talked about it briefly outside of a conference in an interview where they said they were basically just looking how it would fare, and if it becomes really big, then maybe they'll add support for VR. But right now, they don't see it as big enough for them to care about.
Okay.
Oh, also speaking of platformers, that reminds me, Cuphead has a release date.
Yes!
Oh yeah.
Cuphead, September 29th! Cuphead!
Means
Oh God.
me and Skazoto were laughing about Ryman being so happy.
I mean,
In a
you've
good way, in a
seen
good
how
way.
that game looks.
Yeah. In a good way.
Okay. All right, so there's actually a number of games and things I want to touch on.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start with like the only thing that looked interesting during all of EA's conference.
Sports.
Oh,
Yeah.
A Way Out by Halite Studios.
that's not what I was expecting, actually.
So Halite Studio is a new company that is made by people who worked on Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and The Way Out is their first game. And it looks very interesting. It seems like like this sort of cinematic narrative game where you play these two guys who are trying to break out of prison, and the game, like, it's meant to be played in co-op, two people, and even if you're playing online, there's a permanent split screen, so you can always see what the other person is doing.
That's probably the thing I'm most curious about. Like, there's got to be some gameplay mechanic that's required for, because what would be the point otherwise?
Yeah, there must be a reason for it.
I feel like it was mostly just a stylish choice because they wanted to mimic the whole like couch feel.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, like they did show some examples how like one person can be in a cutscene while the other person actually has control and can move around and do stuff.
That reminds me of those modding videos.
The game looks interesting, but I'm also kind of worried, specifically when they show stuff like the whole cutscene thing where one player is watching a cutscene, the other player is doing stuff, because like I feel like there's two potential big problems there. First of all, can you do anything meaningful during a cutscene? And secondly, if you can, does that mean you can fail and then you have to restart the sequence and one player just keeps watching a cutscene and does nothing else as the other player messes up?
Unless there's some interaction in the cutscene whatsoever, I don't know.
And also, they were awfully ambitious. They showed melee combat, they showed stealth, they showed driving, they showed shooting. If they can add all of those mechanics in a good way, I'll be very impressed.
Yeah, it's a huge jump in ambition and probably budget too compared to Brothers.
Yeah,
like they had tons of voice acting as well. It looks interesting. It looks visually good, and
it's definitely a step up from Brothers.
Yeah, so I mean, basically the fact that it's the Brothers guys, like they already had me on board with that, but now they just there's all this other interesting stuff on top of it, and I'm very curious to see how it turns out. But like Zach just said, there are some valid concerns.
Was this the guy that when he was talking about the game, he'd said something about wanting to make a game that was unlike anything else you'd ever experienced in a game or something?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what kind of made me curious about like the whole scripting and cutscene style of things, because we've definitely seen that kind of stuff before. So I'm curious how exactly that will be handled.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Now I kind of wish I had assets of these other games we're talking about, because we might just be seeing concept art of Skull and Bones for quite a while.
You could switch to another game, concept art and shit.
I don't have too much. I mean, I could switch to the trailers.
Look at the Shadows of the Colossus screenshots again.
Oh yeah, and where's that?
The other thing I want to touch on from EA is all right. So I don't want to say too much about Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've just the whole presentation of that was a bit strange. Like they got like the lady who's going to be the player character of the campaign. They got her out on stage with a bunch of stormtroopers, and they went on and on about, yes, we have a campaign this time. We listened to you, or we listened to our fans. And then when they actually got around to showing gameplay footage, it was just the multiplayer. They never showed any single player at all.
Yeah, and I personally found the multiplayer footage to be kind of subpar. It looks super similar to the first game, and I felt like they could have improved more.
With trailers shown before, like the press conferences, we only ever saw pre-rendered stuff of the story. We haven't seen actual footage of the story whatsoever.
And I feel like they need to show gameplay because DICE don't have a good track record for single-player games, but I'm not sure if DICE is actually working on the campaign, because there's a bunch of companies working on it.
Yeah, I think they specifically said that a company called Motive Games, they're doing the story mode.
And supposedly Criterion is involved in Battlefront 2 in some way.
Poor Criterion. They're not making games anymore, they're just supporting other companies.
This reminds me of what happened to Raven Software. Those poor guys, they're just a Call of Duty support studio now.
I did find it kind of funny during that presentation. They had a bunch of stormtroopers on stage, and then the main character actor walked on the stage in like a dress.
I didn't see that part.
So,
I don't know what happened.
For the record, that lady's name is Janina Gavankar, And there is a Giant Bomb ET video where she's actually a guest, and it's kind of interesting because, well, she certainly acts a little differently there compared to how she was on stage. Let's say,
She was trying to be in character on stage, right?
Judging from what I saw in the Giant Bomb thing, I would say yes, she was trying to be in character.
I will also say, ready dress thing. I hope that means it better mean that you can play the entire game.
Oh no!
In a dress, like that's a uniform in the game. It better be true.
Especially if you're a stormtrooper.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the microtransactions in the game that you can buy dresses.
Before we go off of EA stuff, by the way, I just want to mention that another game I was excited about was a BioWare game, Anthem.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to that during the Microsoft thing because they didn't actually show gameplay footage of Anthem until the end of Microsoft's conference.
Yeah.
That does look interesting. And again, like that Frostbite technology just doing work. Game looks visually incredible. Not sure. I mean, it seems like it's going to be like a 4-player co-op. Sure, definitely some strong Destiny vibes from it. Although
I'm trying to separate them.
I do like the idea of like the customizable javelin exosuits they were talking about. That seemed kind of interesting. And hopefully, considering there is a strong 4-player co-op focus throughout the entire game, hopefully it'll have better netcode than Mass Effect.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Indeed. Let's move on. Instead, let's briefly touch on the Xbox One X and how the name is stupid. And how much? And so yeah, I think the name's dumb. I'm just gonna probably call it Scorpio. Still, and it costs $500. No UK or European price announced yet, and it's coming out on November 7th of this year. And oh yeah, they also announced. I think this will be for all Xbox One versions. They're going to be introducing backwards compatibility for original Xbox games.
Mm-hmm.
So far, they've only announced 2 games for it: Crimson Skies and Fusion Frenzy.
Wait, you mean the Xbox One?
Yeah.
The first original Xbox.
Another reason Microsoft can't fucking name shit.
Yeah, it's going to be confusing.
But yeah, I'm going to be...
Oh, wait.
Yeah?
I forget which game it was, but there was one guy that was presenting a game on stage for Xbox, and he actually called it X-Bone accidentally first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember what that was.
Oh, was that Metro? Was that Metro Exodus? It might have been Metro Exodus.
Maybe. Can't remember.
Because I remember that happening early on, but I think it was after Forza, and that was the game that came on right after Forza.
I remember Alchemy bursting out laughing as soon as it happened.
I loved it.
It was pretty funny. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that briefly because I think the name's dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I have to talk about Crackdown 3.
No.
Because somehow they got goddamn Terry Crews in the game. Like, they opened their presentation of that game with a little live action bit with Terry Crews in it, and well, it was Terry Crews being Terry Crews, basically, so it was hilarious.
I wouldn't call that a little live action bit. It was like the whole presentation.
I mean, they did show a little bit of gameplay footage afterwards. But yeah, supposedly he's in the game. He plays the role Commander Jackson.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think I did read somewhere that he is actually going to be playable in the game. And I've also seen this other there's a GIF of his live action Crackdown character eating an agility orb. But yeah, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of divisive feedback about the game. Some people say it looks good, some people say it looks bad, some people have played it say they got the feel of Crackdown just right. I have seen some gameplay footage from the show floor. I can confirm the agency voice man is back as he should be.
Agent.
Because it just, yeah, that guy. Because otherwise it just wouldn't be a Crackdown game otherwise. But yeah, that's coming to Xbox One and Windows 10 PCs, because, you know, it's a Microsoft first-party game, so it won't be on any other PCs. It looks like it's going to have 4-player co-op like Crackdown 2, hopefully with better netcode again. And yeah, I like Crackdown, but it's been an inconsistent franchise in terms of quality, so I just hope it's good. And there goes our committee. Bye.
Oh, we can slide down.
I do also want to touch on the other pirate game that made a big splash, Rare's Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
Definitely looks like it's going for something rather different from Skull and Bones.
Sorry.
Yeah, that looks more like it's like a cartoon.
Yeah,
thing, right?
it looks super super different gameplay wise, but looks like it could be a little bit of fun.
I really disliked the look of it.
Funny, I actually like the cartoony style.
It's a very like free form, do what you want pirate game, like an open world, like you can search for treasure, fight evil skeletons, hunt other player ships.
But getting the treasure, they show you getting it. They show you taking it somewhere else, and they didn't show like you getting anything. They didn't show like whether you get new stuff.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good, like, it's one trend I'm getting kind of tired of, and more games were showing it. Like, hey, you got a legendary weapon. It has +6 attack. Like, I don't want more of that in games. I'm getting so tired of that kind of stuff.
I've been tired of that since Borderlands. I don't want any more of it.
Yeah, I will say also. Okay, so really funny, cool thing you can do in Sea of Thieves, you can launch yourself out of cannons. That looks fucking awesome.
I actually looked up some Sea of Thieves stuff outside of E3. They've actually been releasing just stuff about the game all the time, and I think they also got this open beta available for Xbox One and or PC, and so there's impressions and videos of it all over the place. And it seems like in general people think that it's a pretty good game. The only downside is that combat is kind of dreadfully boring, but it seems very, very well built for like just having a team of friends just like messing around doing silly things. And it also seems very well built for co-op in specific regards. For instance, when you're on the ship, you have a map, but it's only available below deck. So you need one player like going below deck, looking at the map, and then like talking to his other teammates like, hey, okay, we're now close to this island and we should be heading northeast and blah blah blah. So it looks like in some ways really well co-op oriented.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I thought was really interesting. It's like you kind of have to manually assign roles to people to actually pilot the ship where you want to go. I will say I did not like the look of the combat in the trailer. That didn't look terribly interesting, especially the bit at the end where he boarded the ship and was fighting other players. That looked really rough.
With the whole like shooting.
So yeah, Sea of Thieves looks interesting. Hopefully Rare can make a good game again. It was nice when they made good games. Maybe
we should have mentioned with Skull and Bones earlier that you can register for beta on Uplay on PC currently.
Yeah, that's the thing you can do. If you go to, I think, skullandbonesgame.com. We
should probably also mention about Skull and Bones is that was one of the few games that was not early 2018. That was fall 2018.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, it's slated for fall 2018.
So we'll probably see that again at next year's E3 if it's that far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe that's why they specifically show the PvP mode, so they can save the more interesting stuff for later presentations.
That's the silver lining.
But yeah, Sea of Thieves, I kind of like the look of it now. I've seen a bit more of it, and I think that is coming early 2018. Next, from Xbox, I have to talk about the Ori sequel because I loved Ori and the Blind Forest. And
don't spoil it, please, just in case. Just want to throw that out there.
I'll just say, like the first game, the trailer may be a bit emotional.
Aww.
And it still looks absolutely gorgeous. Like the first game did, and yeah, that was a fun little simple Metroidvania game. That was just I really liked it.
I did hear good praise about it back when the first game came out.
Apart from the chase sections, but the rest of the game was good.
I need to play. I really want to play it.
I'll just not say anything because I'll just go on a stupidly long rant.
Yes, you probably will. I kind of would too. No release date for that one, sadly. So just said a new journey begins at the end of the trailer. So who knows when that's actually coming.
I love crying when I play video games, so I'm excited about it.
Then look forward to that then, I guess. Oh yeah, so it looks like Microsoft is the official marketing partner for the new Middle-earth game that's coming out, Shadow of War. and I'm looking forward to that. It looks like a good expansion of Shadow Mordor. The personality of the orc guy they recruited, fucking hilarious. I think
Space Marine.
Yeah, I think his name is Bruce, and he was definitely the highlight of that entire trailer.
Yeah, he was fun.
So yeah, that looks good. That's coming out this year, so that's pretty soon, October, I think. And yeah, I think that's everything from Xbox since we already covered Anthem and backwards compatibility. Oh yeah, Bethesda. Most of the conference was the garbage, to be honest. I'm not sure what the hell they were thinking with that whole Creation Club thing they announced. Or it basically sounds like they're trying paid mods again.
No, yeah, I did hear about that.
The modding scene for Elder Scrolls is going bananas about that right now.
Yeah. And it's funny because like there's a whole statement from Bethesda about the Creation Club thing, like an FAQ, and and one of the questions is this paid mods? And they say no.
But
people, you pay for mods.
But there's also a thing that they've put out that states for the creators on Creation Club, can I get revenue? And they say yes. So I don't know what they're saying when they say no.
No, yeah. I mean, it might work out better because they say they'll only accept brand new original submissions for Creation Club, so no existing mods will be added to this thing. And they'll also be like checking over all the submissions for to avoid any like the IP theft business that went on with the Steam mods.
Didn't they say something about original people from like the Elder Scrolls development team will also be working on some small mods too? Something like that?
I think they said that the like actual Bethesda developers would be involved in this in some way. Yeah. I forget the specifics. I mean, it might work, but I think saying that it's not paid mods is a bit disingenuous. Like, okay, it's new content, but these are still mods that you pay money for.
I don't think I'm necessarily against the idea of paid mods because, I mean, there's a lot of mods out there where people put a lot of effort into them.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's absolutely mods out there that deserve payment, like, because of the amount of work that's put into them. But
I don't...
My issue is mainly with Bethesda saying that it's not paid mods, because it is.
One of the problems with the Steam mods when that became a thing, with that being paid, was there was a very famous Elder Scrolls Skyrim mod called Wet and Cold that added a bunch of weather effects, and then when it got to Steam, you had to pay for it, and a lot of people went bananas about it, considering...
I think Ryman touched on that it has to be new original content.
Yeah.
Also,
Speaking of existing mods, Schlongs of Skyrim, I hope that's supported. Okay, that's all. That's why I made Chris so big, so you can see Schlong.
I was gonna ask, like, I didn't remember that trailer from E3 with Chris.
Schlongs of Skyrim. I would pay $1 for that. Okay. Back to your topic.
Oh yeah, now to the actual good stuff about Bethesda's conference. They announced. I think they announced a standalone expansion for Dishonored 2. It's called Death of the Outsider, which is actually kind of a big deal from like a story lore perspective, because the Outsider is the character that gives you your powers at the beginning of both Dishonored games. So the fact that the goal of someone is to actually go and kill this guy is actually kind of a big deal in the grand scheme of Dishonored.
I haven't played Dishonored before.
I've played the first one only, and I actually kind of liked it a lot. I played mainly like a non-lethal stealth playthrough.
I was excited about it for a while, but I never got around to it.
I've not played the second one because the PC version of that game launched with a whole bunch of issues. Yeah.
Do you know if there's many differences between the male and female characters?
In Dishonored 2, yes, they have different powers.
Like, I meant like story-wise?
That I'm not so sure about because I don't want to spoil it for myself, because I think I will eventually play Dishonored 2. Then there was a lot of teasing before E3, but then it was finally officially announced that The Evil Within 2 is a thing that is being made. Yeah. So I guess that's what...
I was very happy about that.
I guess that's what Shinji Mikami and Tango Gameworks have been working on this whole time.
I think that's the first sequel he's ever worked on, except for RE4, which was partially reboot anyway. Like gameplay wise, it was super different from other RE games.
Yeah, I've only played the demo of the first Evil Within. I thought it was okay, but it didn't really excite me all that much.
I don't remember. What was the general reception of the Evil Within?
I think it was
mixed. It was mixed. I think there was also a lot of complaints about performance issues when it came out, and
Sorry, what?
And the forced letterboxing.
Yeah, I guess that's a very rare example where instead of people asking if it has 21:9 support, people will ask if it has 16:9 support.
Yeah.
Do I remember it correctly? It being a thing where all the footage they showed of the game before releasing it kind of made people angry. Like the game was shown as something that it didn't actually end up being. Was that an argument people had about it?
I don't remember that, but
I think that sounds kind of familiar. That a lot of the trailers maybe showed just like this kind of hospital-like environment, but the full game had you gone through like cities and other stuffs. I'm not sure.
And like
I felt like there was something misleading about it, but I can't really remember. But anyway.
And then after that, they ended on the thing I'm most excited about from Bethesda, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, with this massive, like 8.5 minute trailer, which showed a bunch of hilarious fake TV shows. And then, before going on to a bunch of gameplay and cutscenes, I loved Wolfenstein: The New Order and The Old Blood. I thought they were fantastic shooters, and the new Colossus just looks even crazier. So it's set. So the New Order was set in Europe, and the new Colossus is basically like, what if the Nazis won the war and they were taking over America? Is basically the premise of this one. There's this one crazy part where like you're walking through an American street, about to enter like a diner, and then you see off to the side, you see a bunch of Nazis like conversing with a bunch of people from the KKK, which is just fucking crazy.
I think I can think of at least 2 games with that exact same premise.
What?
Yeah, I think Turning Point was another game, which was based on the idea that the Nazis won the war, and another game I forget the name of.
Maybe it was Wolfenstein: The New Order.
No. The other game is a much older one.
Oh, okay.
Late 90s.
But yeah, really looking forward to that. And so the crazy thing is that Wolfenstein 2 comes out the same day as Assassin's Creed Origins and the next game I want to talk about, Super Mario Odyssey.
So not early 2018. Shocking.
Yeah, so all 3 of those games come out on October 27th this year. And again, Super Mario Odyssey, another trailer that looked absolutely ridiculous. Like,
have you watched that Arcometti?
Oh yeah.
He was there, wasn't he?
No.
I watched it later on.
Oh.
So the crazy thing about that trailer is that you didn't even know it was Super Mario Odyssey at first, because you just saw a picture of this T-Rex running through a field.
Yeah.
And then it zooms in his head. It's like, oh, he's wearing a Mario hat. What? Mario came out of the T-Rex. What's going on?
That trailer was pretty bananas all around.
It was a fucking incredible trailer, and now because of it, I really want a Switch.
Yeah.
Because
I want to transform into things.
Like Super Mario Odyssey just looks absolutely incredible. And there was a short gameplay demo after they showed the trailer, and there's a couple of interesting changes. For example, judging from that gameplay footage, lives seem to be gone. Like, when they died in the gameplay footage, they just lost coins. And,
that reminds me a lot of Sonic.
A little bit, I guess. Now, this is going to sound a little petty, but I always thought Mario was a bit slow to realize that extra lives are pointless in like the type of game that's going for. Like, a lot of other platformers realized that point before Mario did. And I'm just kind of glad that they're finally realized, hey, the extra lives are kind of pointless. They don't really do anything.
Well, back when I played like classic Mario games, I didn't even feel like it mattered if I reduced all my lives, because it would just start the level over again anyway.
Yeah, like the old design of extra lives, they're basically a relic of the arcades, where your lives are basically how many coins you'd put into the machine.
I always just looked at it as a fun collectible. Like, it was fun to get to 99 lives. And that's it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I never saw the point, and it looks like they're making some interesting innovations in this one, and I'm curious to see what else they do with the crazy hat capturing mechanic.
Considering we're talking about Nintendo, Ryman,
Mm-hmm.
are you about to talk about what I think you're about to talk about?
Oh, well, I guess I could briefly touch on it, but there's not much to say. I mean, they announced they're developing Metroid Prime 4, but all they showed was a logo, so clearly they don't have anything to show yet. I guess I can touch on, there was a press release released afterwards that said it's a new team working on it. It's not Retro Studios, so we still have no fucking idea what Retro Studios is doing since it's been 3 years since they released Tokyo Country Tropical Freeze. They must be working on something, but they're still not ready to show it.
Maybe it's just a David Wise LP.
Are we okay with that?
Was there
Actually, there was a rumor going around that the guy that did the music for Deus Ex and on the old Unreal games, I think his name's Alexander Brandon? Sectus, can you back me up here?
Yeah, he made music for Unreal, Just Like Rabbit 2, many other games back in the day.
I think he also worked on Dust and Elysian Tale, which I really liked.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around, I think I heard somewhere that he's been contracted to do work for a sci-fi project at Retro Studios. So that's very interesting.
Magic Carpet 3?
Is that sci-fi?
Now you're Magic Carpet in space!
Oh god. All right, so I guess I want to touch on two more things from Ubisoft, although one of them is technically also a Nintendo thing. Mario X Rabbids.
That looked
Kingdom
actually
Battle.
pretty neat. I was excited about that.
XCOM Enemy Mario?
Yeah, like it's basically like the battle system is basically modern XCOM, which is insane.
And the
was
Rabbit
baffling.
Peach looked adorable. That's just really funny.
I think it's a game I would never personally play, but I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that game exists, we got Miyamoto walking on stage at E3 press conference holding a gun.
And pretending to shoot the entire audience.
And giving a person another gun.
He probably took a lot of pleasure in that, actually.
Yeah.
He looked like he was having a lot of fun.
And also, another thing I want to point out about that presentation, and it also ties into the other Ubisoft thing I want to talk about, that bit where they cut to the producer of the game sitting in the crowd, just getting all teary-eyed, just crying because he's so happy to work on this game. That was a good sight to see.
I think, as a side note, I think in general it's good to see more developers in general during the conferences to just I think that gives a more like earnest impression of the games, like seeing people who are actually hands-on in the game with the games and actually like really excited about them. The only downside is that you get more like some kind of awkward moments with people being really nervous, but I think it's much better than just like having PR people all the time saying PR stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's one really positive thing about E3 this year that I saw, was that there were a lot more personal presentations of games that were coming up.
Yeah,
compared to previous years.
Yeah.
And also in contrast, I can't remember his name, the guy that is he like the president of North American Sony or whatever? He was the one that came on stage for PlayStation the most.
Sean Layden?
Yes, him. He seemed like he had someplace better to be and was in a rush the entire time.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like Sony's pre-show had Mark Cerny speak in an interview, and why didn't they just have him instead during the conference? Because he's good at talking.
Yeah, like I was so turned off by that the entire Sony conference. He seemed like he was late for something and he didn't want to be there.
I'll be happy the day they just zero PR talk during conferences.
That would be nice, but at least this year it felt like
there
was more of the personal developer side of things.
It was a big improvement.
Yeah.
And I think that was felt most during Ubisoft for reasons I'll get to later. But one last thing I want to point out about Mario X Rabbids, when they cut to the guy who was the producer who was crying, one thing I didn't realize until later is that 2 seats down from him was Grant Kirkhope, and he was actually like urging him to stand up and for a moment when the camera cut to him. And apparently, I learned later, he's going to be composing for Mario X Rabbids.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
he did Donkey Kong Country 64, Banjo-Kazooie.
He did Banjo-Kazooie.
He worked a lot on ukulele recently.
Yep. Most of the music in that game is his. And I guess the other example of earnest developers we saw was right at the end of Ubisoft's conference when, after more than 10 years, we finally saw Beyond Good and Evil 2 return from the ashes.
Somehow.
That was the F-bomb trailer.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, with all the animal people in it. Really strange, because I don't think there was any swearing at all in the original Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, it seemed like a weird shift, because I always got the impression those games were very lighthearted.
Yeah.
Especially with like the monkey talking, he was very like modern thuggish.
Yeah. So they revealed some details. It's set before the first Beyond Good and Evil. It sounds like there's going to be like a strong online component. The way they talked about it almost sounded a bit MMO-ish. They mentioned exploring through space as well. And you can sign up for the Space Monkey program to get into the beta for that. And signing up for that basically confirms it's coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One, because those are the three platforms you can pick when you sign up. And like Michel Ancel, the guy behind it, who's also the creator of Rayman, he came on stage after the trailer, again tearing up. It's like because he finally got to show this game off again after decades, or a decade more like.
I guess they didn't show anything of his bear shouting game, The Wild, I think it's called.
So that's a Sony exclusive. So if we had seen that, it would have been at Sony's conference, and it wasn't there. That's wild for anyone who's remembering. That's a shame, because I think that game looks kind of interesting, but I guess it's not really yet. Right, that was everything from Ubisoft. I guess Sony. Do I want to talk about anything else from Sony? Oh well, yeah. I guess like Uncharted Lost Legacy is still coming out. Apparently coming out pretty soon. I think it's coming out in August. Sadly, can't really say much about it, because when we watched it live, the sound was borked. Couldn't really hear much. But yeah, I mean, like an Uncharted game without Drake and with Chloe and Nadine.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a Monkey Island 2 sequel this time, so I think I might be less interested.
I mean, I'll probably check that out. I mean, Uncharted's always a fun time.
It did very much look like an Uncharted game.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing I want to touch on is the Spider-Man game, which has a ton of QuickTime events and otherwise looks like it plays like a Batman Arkham game.
It's very blatant how they just looked at like Arkham City and Arkham Knight and just went, yeah, let's use that as a template.
Yeah, it's just like, I think there was one instance specifically that made me like, did they just copy and paste stuff? Because I think there was like a prompt to do a web takedown. Just like, wait a second.
Yeah, I mean,
what is this?
Yep. The combat looks super similar, like the Predator sequence looks super similar. It's, very blatant. And just with more QTEs, like there was at the end of the presentation, that was super long cutscene with an insane amount of QTEs.
There was a lot of those, yeah.
I've never been a fan of Spider-Man in particular, so I don't have any excitement about this game. I'd rather just play the Arkham series again. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
I guess I'll finish my bit by just touching on the people who weren't there, and I'm just very curious as to what they're doing. So first of all, from Sony, still no sign of Sucker Punch. They have not released anything since Infamous First Light. I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah. And for me, I was kind of hoping for finally Soul Calibur 6 to be announced. This has been teased for a couple of years, but nope, nothing.
And I was hoping for something from Resident Evil 2!
I was hoping for Diddy Kong Racing too, but I might just have to wait till next year, I guess.
The only positive thing with Soul Calibur is that Namco more and more, it looks like just about all the games being developed with Unreal Engine 4 and more of the games are coming to PC as well. So I'm hoping that when Soul Calibur 6 is finally announced, it'll be using that engine and come for PC, which means it should be moddable. I like mods.
It will be a GameCube exclusive.
I guess I also want to touch on Rocksteady as well. Apparently, they made the Batman VR thing that came out not too long ago, but other than that, they haven't released anything since the last batch of Batman Arkham Knight DLC. So
they should just for spiting that other developer, they should release a new Batman game which plays like the old Spider-Man games.
Oh, you mean like the Neversoft ones?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did the Batman VR game have a bulge observe mode?
Well, I guess you could at least look down. I don't know.
Is that why you played Batman?
Well, it's one reason. And it's the big reason I play the VR version. But anyway, I'll find out for myself on my own time. Keep going.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. So, you got anything, Snips?
Nah.
Okay, that's a good summary of E3 from Snips.
And like, there's the Android thing, but that's only on PS4. Like the Choices game, where it branches off into various different choices.
Yeah, Heavy Rain with Androids.
And, yeah,
I mean,
I really like the look of that game because I really like Telltale series of games, and I like the style of making choices and different outcomes. But because it's on PS4, yeah.
Detroit.
Apparently, I found out that. Sorry, what?
I was just saying because it's on PS4, I'll probably not get a chance to try it unless I buy a PS4.
What I learned about that game, my interest is kind of quiet about it so far. We'll see if it picks up. But I saw that I forget Jesse something. He's one of the Grey's Anatomy actors who is doing all the work for the main character of that game, which is kind of funny because another actress on Grey's Anatomy is the rebooted Lara Croft in Tomb Raider 2013 and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Huh.
So just slowly, one by one, all the Grey's Anatomy actors are turning to video games.
You say main character. When they first showed it off, they showed you playing as like this android cop guy making.
No, I think the very first time they showed it, there was actually an android woman. I think it might be three different main characters in the game. Yeah.
Ah. I don't even know about that.
They've been showing off the game for many years.
Huh.
Yeah, Contact Green like to leave things cooking in the oven for a while.
Before I forget, there's one thing about Nintendo I wanted to mention. This is like a general warning to the gaming community as like a heads up, like we should do something before it's too late.
What?
Oh.
Like Fire Emblem Warriors, like Tecmo Koei is trying to make every franchise we know into Dynasty Warriors. Everything! There's so many now, it's insane!
I'm okay with it, Sectors.
We might have to deal with you too, Snips.
Hey, Sectors. I've got a nightmare scenario for you.
No, not Magic Carpet Warriors, no! Not Yoda Story Warriors, no!
No.
Not Soul Calibur Warriors, no!
Yeah, that one.
Wait, no, they kind of already did it. They added Sophitia to one of their Warriors games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I was going to record that for my YouTube channel, but at the point I finally unlocked it, I just didn't want to look at the game ever again.
You're right, though, by the way. Yoda Stories is a nightmare.
Wow.
Which game did they add her to again? Which game did they add her to?
Samurai Warriors 2, something like that?
Oh, Samurai Warriors. Oh.
I'm not sure. No, it was not Samurai. I don't know. They have so many of those Warriors games. I don't know.
I think it might have been a Warriors Orochi thing.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Oh well.
Okamate, have you said everything you want to talk about from E3?
I think so.
And Snips and Ryman are also done?
I am.
We covered most of the things.
I'm definitely done. Yeah, I think I went on for a while.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's one little bit I want to talk about at the end here. I feel like this is kind of weird timing for people who specifically want to hear about some Resident Evil news.
Did Akromedi say what he wanted to say?
Hmm?
Did you say you were done?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a little bit of our news. Like I was considering to make this on podcast, but I feel like the news is small enough that it doesn't matter. But I just want to add it anywhere. So the voice actor for Claire in most of the RE games, I think, is it Alison Court? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She made a video confirming that even though she was approached by Capcom early on, she will not be in the RE2 remake because they decided. I think they said that they were going for non-union voice actors. That was the reasoning.
Because of the current strike situation.
No. She actually made a third video where she explained it's not related to the strike. So I don't know.
What? Really?
Yeah. That's what she said.
It's also the outsourced company doing the like hiring of voice actors that told her that, not Capcom themselves, right?
I'm a little bit confused about the whole thing. I mean, I think it's pretty common for developers in general to be very much involved in the process of choosing actors to voice their roles. So I would be surprised if Capcom had no say in that.
That's so strange. Like she's made 3 videos herself to clarify things. So I mean, I guess maybe a lot of people are confused about it.
Yeah. And there was an interview with a Capcom guy who talked a lot about the RE movies in general. As a side note, I thought it was really weird. Like, apparently, he's a guy who started with RE games, with RE1. I think he was one of the programmers on RE1. Then he eventually got promoted to basically overseeing the production of the entire RE franchise, and now he specifically only overlooks the RE movies. That kind of sounds like a big demotion, but oh well. But anyway, in that interview, he briefly mentioned that RE2 remake is coming soon. Then again,
nothing to me anymore.
Yeah, soon. Spoken by like a PR person, that can mean literally anything. So yeah. And in another interview from I think March this year, for some reason I guess this interview was just overlooked for a long while. A Capcom guy said that they are currently working on a new RE game, which is not RE7, not RE2 remake, which will feature returning characters. And I am assuming this must be Revelations 3.
Yay. And I am hopeful that because they tweeted randomly Sailor Chris yesterday or the day before. Yeah, something about it being summer and Sailor Chris is doing things with his short shorts and stuff. I think that means that Sailor Chris will be coming back in Revelations 3. It's going to be a story all about his pipe. And that's...
But you get to control a ship like in Assassin's Creed.
You get to control his pipe. But that's... Revelations, like, I think that will probably be my focus of the Resident Evil series for a while. I enjoyed RE7, but I miss the action style, and I hope they polish things with Revelations 3.
Yeah, I'm curious if they'll just continue with what they did with 1 and 2 or take it elsewhere.
I really hope the combat gets a huge overhaul. I just felt like Revelations 1 felt like a worse version of RE5 combat-wise, and Revelations 2 felt like an also worse version. Like, it's similar, but it's like, specifically the melee system just isn't that interesting in Revelations 1 and 2.
The melee and the movement felt very, I don't know, kid-friendly, immature.
2 was better in controls, but it still felt bad.
And I mean, like, come on, let's all be serious here. Like, Mercenaries is 1,000 times better than Raid mode. Like, come on.
Yes, I've had my fill of Raid mode like 5 times over. I want Mercenaries back.
I just want a Mercenaries standalone game. That's all I want in life.
I'm hoping they don't just follow the trend of doing another raid mode and then doing some microtransaction stuff. Like they did with 2 with the whole store thing.
I barely remember that.
You could buy like more inventory and...
I don't think I cared too much, as I just didn't enjoy raid mode a whole lot. I played very little of Revelations 2 raid mode.
I played too much. But at least I had a nude mod for that game.
Maybe they'll just port Revelations, not Revelations, Mercenaries 3D in HD.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Oh, God.
That's long past the potential of that happening, I feel like. But as far as the returning Resident Evil characters go, I know some people might disagree with me or disagree with the implementation of it in Revelations 2 especially, but I really enjoyed Claire and Barry coming back in that game.
I felt it was good.
I loved the way they did that and all the references to the old style of games and things that had happened previously.
A lot of people didn't like Moira, but yeah.
I think it was handled, that part of it was handled sloppily. Like, I didn't like a lot of the writing they made for the game. It was like, I think they tried on purpose to be corny and it just sounded off.
Yeah, the writing, I think, for Revelations in general has been pretty horrible, and the voice direction, especially in Revelations 1, was the worst I'd ever heard in a game. Like, even with Roger Craig Smith, he sounded lifeless and dead.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot.
There's one more detail about this I forgot to mention about the game, which sounds like it should be Revelations 3. They mentioned the creative director for the game, which is the same creative director as for RE5 and Revelations 2.
That makes me happy. Because I thought Revelations 2 improved a lot on the Revelations 1 style of story delivery.
I just
Although, I do want to add before we get off that topic, I hope they get away from the episodic format, because that felt extremely forced and unnecessary.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
And I just want to add on quickly to the whole writing story thing. Like, Alex Wesker was completely wasted. That was a good opportunity to introduce a cool new villain, and it was so wasted.
She was hardly in like the episodes as well. She's like in the last 2 episodes, and then like
we saw human Alex Wesker for like 2 seconds, and then it was just I'm a monster.
Yeah, at least they kind of left that open-ended for Natalia. I mean, Alex Wesker is not specifically necessarily completely gone forever as a concept, but I mean, they have to please, like, just let us see her as a human again. Like, just be like, oh, that was just one possibility, and you guys, that was like a dream. Claire dreamed it.
I'm
still out there.
I'm gonna throw stuff out the window. If Revelations 3 is Alex Wesker in kid form as villain, like, come on.
I was gonna say, if the villain is just Natalia.
It's gonna be so stupid.
It was interesting, but I definitely agree that it was a waste of Alex Wesker as a character.
I've had it, boy.
I definitely liked the twist ending thing you could get. But other than that, I wouldn't want to see any more of girl Natalia as Alex, I don't think. But I don't know.
I mean, both versions of the ending had kind of cliffhanger-y, like open-ended kind of things in them, didn't they? Without spoiling it too much, I guess, even though we've already covered it mostly.
And the game's been out for a while.
I was going to say something else about Revelations 2, but I can't remember now.
No. Any other news like this?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, see you at TGS.
So I guess there's nothing else anyone want to say?
I'm good.
I am definitely done.
Okay, so that was it for E3 and Alex Wesker's stupidness. So bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.